Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the controversial video of the year. Is the Premier League 21-22 predictions. Now, before we get into it, every year I run a fancy Premier League league, so the code will be on the bottom of the screen. I'll also leave an auto join link in the description if you want to join. It's always a great laugh, and if you come first, you'll get a prize at the end of the season. Yeah, as I said, this is a controversial one, so if you agree, disagree, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I reply to every single one, and I'd love to have a little conversation with you guys. But without further ado, let's get into it. FIFA 21 is here. Don't waste your money on FIFA points. Go to MMOPO.com and get cheap, fast and safe FIFA 21 coins. Use code OzNoz to get 8% off your order. Link in the description. Right, here we go. We're going to start with the bottom to the top. At 20th, I have Watford. Yes, I'm sorry to the cycling GK. I'm putting you at the bottom. I just don't think they have it. They have a couple of good players. Yes, Saar looks like a fantastic player. I just feel like someone like Deeney leading the line maybe isn't up to the Premier League quality at the moment. And I just see them going straight back down. At 19th, we have Norwich, a personal favourite team of mine. I think they have potential to surprise. With players like Billy Gilmore and Cantwell, they could do quite well. They've also recently signed a great new striker in Sargent, so they've got a bit of potential. But I just don't think they have that stunning Premier League quality that is needed to stay up, in my opinion. But as I said, they could surprise me. At 18th, they've got Burnley. Now, Burnley have done unbelievably well to stay up in the last 3-4 years. I don't know how they do it. Sean Dyche is a genius and deserves a lot more credit. But I think this year is going to be the one that they're going to struggle. They haven't made any promising signings, in my opinion. And I think it's all going to get too much and they're going to go down. Escaping relegation at 17th, I think it's going to be Southampton. Now, they just look finished. I mean, they've lost a lot of good players, and the signings they bought in for those players are just nowhere near as good as the originals. I also think as a manager, he is not very good at all. Yeah, he's not for me, and I think Southampton will be lucky to just scrape avoiding relegation. At 16, we have Brentford, one of the only teams that are coming up that I don't think will go down. The reason I don't, having a goal-scoring proven striker is incredible. And they have one in Ivan. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. I think he's going to score a lot of goals. And I think after the season, whether they stay up or go down, he'll get a move next season to a bigger Premier League club. He is fantastic. He broke the goal scoring record in the Championship last year. So I think he's going to continue. Guys, interrupt this video. Just say if you are enjoying the content, it means the world if you could drop a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. On to the rest of the video. Up above them is going to be Brighton. Now, I think a lot of people have Brighton going down, but I know XG is a controversial one, but their XG last season was absolutely fantastic. A really, really good performing team. Now, if they can just put some of those goals away, they'll be decent, and I think they'll be able to stay up once again. I do love Brighton. I've got a soft spot for them, and I think they're going to be absolutely fantastic. They're just such a solid team, such a solid Premier League team these days. At 14th, we have Newcastle. A lot of people will probably put them lower down, in my opinion. I think they're going to be decent. I think Steve Bruce is an underrated manager. I know Newcastle fans might hate me for saying that. I think they have got a fantastic squad. The players like St. Maximin, Wilson's a great striker. Honestly, maybe should be playing for a better club. They've got an all-round solid team, and importantly, St. James's Park is a fantastic stadium when you've got a full crowd in. And if they can back the boys, I think they'll be able to stick up to 14th, in my opinion. Next at 13th, we have Leeds. Now, if you follow me on any sort of social media, you know I don't like Leeds, but my opinion on Leeds is, I think they were actually annoyingly really good last season and really nice to watch. But my issue is, I think they'll have second season syndrome. I don't think they'll have it as bad as Sheffield United, say, had it. But I think they will be affected by it. I think people will work it out. And as it is quite one-dimensional, there's no like plan B. I think maybe it just won't pay off as good. It's quite a 50-50 kind of route they have. Like, you just score as many as you concede and hopefully stay around the middle, and I don't think it'll work as well, hence move them down to 13th. Next we have Wolves. Wolves are a bit of a weird one. They've lost their manager, they lost a couple of key players. I mean, Jimenez is just coming back. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think they'll be up near Europe at all this season, maybe the season after, but I feel this is a bit of like a rebuild, just like a settling season where they'll come 12th. At 11th, we have Crystal Palace. An interesting one. Vieira's taken over. He's got rid of basically every old player in the club and brought in loads of new exciting players. I think this is a kind of rebuild season where they'll develop, and then next season they'll be able to push towards the European side of the table. I think they're going to have a good season. It's going to be really interesting to see A, how good Patrick Vieira is, and B, how good the new young signings are. At 10th, we have West Ham. They were the surprise of last season. Now, this is probably my harshest one. I just think that they do have good players and they are decent, but I think they kind of just rode this kind of luck. And with Jesse Lingard not there, are they as a special team? Who knows? I think they're going to be surprisingly low this season. I think just they had a lot of momentum. Also, not having fans in the London Stadium was helpful. The West Ham fan base in the stadium are very toxic and it's not a great stadium, in my opinion, so I think they'll drop down. Another team that I think is going to do really not that well this season is Everton. Overall, their squad is just a bit iffy. They don't seem to have much drive. The signings they've made are not that inspiring in Gray and Townsend. Like, they're all right mid-Premier League players. It's just hard to tell. I think Rafa can do a job. He really can with a team like that, but I just can't see them reaching the heights. At 8th, we've got Villa, who I think are going to actually have a really impressive season. They've made some great signings with the money that they got from selling Grealish. I think they're a fantastic team. I think they've got a decent manager with them, and just overall really nice squad. I think this is going to be a season where they kind of just like get everything together, because you can't just chuck loads of new signings together. They just have to bond. So I think that's going to be one season where they're going to do really nice and well at 8th and have a decent season. And then next season, they're probably going to look really threatening. But yeah, they've made some fantastic signings. 7th, they've got Arsenal now. I think they're going to go one up from last season, purely because they only have the Premier League and obviously the domestic cups to focus on. No European football. I think their squad isn't the strongest, but because they only have one league to focus on, it's going to be fine. Hopefully they can sign someone else as the time of recording, because it's looking a bit ropes. Only signing Ben White from a team that was really struggling last year might be an issue, but they ended last season after Christmas so well. So if they can just continue that and just keep their heads together, and maybe Arteta do well, they'll get 7th in my opinion. At 6th, we have Spurs. Now, I don't think they're going to be particularly amazing. This is assuming they're losing Kane. They've got some good players. I think Son is a good star man to have. An alright defence, like just decent players, but they're not. I bet a lot of money they wouldn't get top 4, but I also bet a lot of money they won't get like 9th or 10th. I think they'll just get in that middle gap that a lot of teams are. They're alright, they're looking decent, but yeah, nothing too inspiring from them. At 5th, we have Leicester. I mean, just a fantastically well-run club. They've got replacements in for Vardy with Daka, and obviously Iheanacho ended the season fantastically. They've got players, if they keep on to Maddison, Tielemans, just a really strong team. They brought in Bertrand just for that left-back reassurance. Just everything's looking bright and dandy for them, and I think Brendan Rodgers will no doubtedly look to be in the top 4 for the whole of the season, then bottle it and come 5th once again. 5th for Leicester. 4th, we have Liverpool. Now, this is an interesting one. I think the top 4 are quite interchangeable. I just don't think Liverpool have necessarily strengthened up enough. I mean, they have a lot of players that are really good, your Salahs, your Manes, but they're kind of either peaking, over the peak. Can they do it for so many seasons? I still don't believe that a team with Firmino as the striker can really challenge for a league title, in my opinion. And yeah, losing Wijnaldum could be big. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see how good Van Dijk is when he returns. Is the defence going to be as good as it was back a couple of seasons ago? Who knows? But I've got them at 4th. 3rd, we have Man United. Now, they have really boosted their attack with the addition of Jadon Sancho, also signing Cavani again, which is absolutely fantastic. If they get a defensive midfielder, they could honestly come first. They could come first. My only weakness with Man United is their manager. I don't think he's a Premier League winning manager. I just don't think he has the facilities for that. In my opinion, that is just my opinion. I think he's done an unbelievable rebuild job. Unbelievable, but I just don't think he's a Premier League title winning manager. That is just my opinion. At 2nd, we have my team, Chelsea. I don't think we have enough to come first. In my opinion, I just think it's not quite there, because the team that I've put first are just clear, in my opinion. We've just signed Romelu Lukaku, I believe, so that's phenomenal. That's one of our major gaps filled. If we can just keep the defence right, keep the system right with a fantastic manager in Tuchel, I think we can potentially push for the title. But I honestly would put a lot more money on coming 2nd or 3rd. Chelsea or Man U will come 2nd or 3rd, in my opinion. And at number 1, we have the reigning Premier League champions, Manchester City. Now, if they do win this, it will be 4 Premier Leagues out of 5 seasons, which is unbelievable. Probably the best Premier League team of all time, in my opinion. And yeah, they're just fantastic. Even if they don't sign Kane, I think they'll still come first, even if they don't, which is mental. The squad depth is ludicrous. They got to Champions League final and won the Premier League without a recognised striker last year. That says it all. I think they're going to be clear, and they are going to win the Premier League title. Quickly, my golden boot shout is going to be Romelu Lukaku. Most assists is going to be Kevin De Bruyne, feeding Kane all the time. And I think the golden glove is going to be between Mendy and Ederson, but I'll give it to Mendy because I think Chelsea's defence is going to be really, really secure this year. So yeah, that was my overall Premier League predictions. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below if you're new to the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on what I said. But yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.